So our third day in Anaheim was Disney Day. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I should have put my ears on. But yeah, you'll see a picture of them. So first of all, before we could go to Disney, I walked over to the convention center because you could starting at 7, you could go to check in for Minecon. So that's what I did. I checked in, I grabbed my swag bag and brought it back to the hotel and opened it up and looked at everything inside. So yeah, I got my swag from Minecon and my wristband and all of that stuff and my lanyard, and that meant that I didn't have to go really early the next day, but I probably should have anyway, but that's for the next video. So this video is just talking about Disney though, because we went to both Disney theme parks in the same day. Yeah, it was a lot, and we didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do, but still had a great time. After I grabbed my Minecon stuff, I slathered on my sunscreen because of course I do not want to get burned. And it's like 80 something degrees there. So I put that on and we were ready to go to Disney California Adventure, which was the first park we went to for the day. So, we had 3 rides that we definitely wanted to ride at California Adventure. The first was Soarin' Across the World. The second was California Screamin', and the third was the Tower of Terror. And we did all of them. We got all 3 of them, so yes, very cool. We had plenty of time to get to all of them too, so that was great. So, Soarin' Around the World is a version of Soarin' that we rode at Epcot when we were at Disney World. And we really liked it. That was the very first ride that we rode at a Disney theme park, and a Disney theme park in Orlando, and so it was very appropriate that it was also the first ride that we rode at a Disney theme park in Anaheim. So there we go. We got to do both of them. First ride at both parks. And basically it's the same. It's kind of like you're in a hang glider, but with lots of other people around, and your feet are off the ground and everything. There's a big screen in front of you, and it looks like you're flying over different areas. And at certain points, they have a little, it looks like a little speaker in front of you, but it's actually got scents that they sometimes just put a little scent out there. So like at one point we were in an area with a bunch of dirt, and so you could kind of smell dirt around you, which was really neat. I remember when we rode Soarin', at one point you fly over like the orange groves in California, and you could smell the orange, and you could smell pine trees when you were like at the ski slopes and everything. And so they did that there too, which was really cool. So as soon as we finished with that one, we started walking around the side of the park, the edge of the park, and we walked by Grizzly River Run, but we didn't get on it because it was A, a water ride, which Kevin hates, and B, it was really early in the morning still, and it was kind of cool out, and I didn't want to get on there and get splashed and have to walk around in wet clothes. So we didn't go in there, but you could see Grizzly Peak back in the behind everything. You could see it up there, and it looked really cool. It looks like an actual grizzly bear head. But yeah, we decided not to ride that one yet. So instead we headed toward Paradise Pier, and that's where California Screamin' is, which was of course one of our other must-ride rides. We passed by the Little Mermaid ride, but it was closed down for refurbishment, I think, and that was okay by me because I'm pretty sure it's the exact same ride that they have at Magic Kingdom, so I didn't really care for it that much the first time I rode it, so I was like, I'm good. So, yeah, we continued on and went across to Paradise Pier and jumped onto California Screamin', and that was a really fun roller coaster. So when you get on and you start going, you're going really slow, and it's like, oh, well, this is gonna be like nothing. But then they stop you, and you're stopped like right in like the lagoon or whatever it is where they do the World of Color, and you're stopped there. And you can see people on this bridge, and they're just staring at you, and they know what's going to happen. But if you haven't been paying attention, you don't. We hadn't been paying attention. So you get there, and you're stopped, and they do a countdown. And then you zoom straight through, and there are loops, and there are twists, and there are turns, and there are lots of big hills, and it's really fun. I would highly recommend that to anyone who likes roller coasters. we really liked it and we ended up riding it a second time because usually if we find a roller coaster that we really like, we ride it twice. Yeah. So once we were done with California Screamin', we stuck around the pier and went over to ride Mickey's Fun Wheel. And it reminds me a lot of the Fun Wheel or whatever, I can't remember exactly, Wonder Wheel, that's what it's called, at Coney Island in New York. And it has like static cars, so they stay in place, but then it also has like swinging cars, and it's really fun. I like that one, but I wasn't expecting it to swing so much, so it did kind of scare me a little bit, but I still had fun. The cast member at the ride who led us onto it was kind of an older man, but oh my gosh, he was like the sweetest old man. Oh my gosh. So after that, we rode the Silly Symphony Swings, which is just a little swing thing that goes around in the air, and it's, you know, it's pretty tame, so it wasn't too bad. And then we rode Goofy's Sky School, which is a roller coaster that was kind of like one of the coasters that we rode at Knott's Berry Farm, where it has like all of the hairpin turns, and I didn't really like it that much because where are the hills? And and Kevin doesn't like it because hairpin turns and he's afraid he's gonna fall out. So yeah, that one wasn't that great. And plus I got really annoyed at the guy who was working it because as we were going, he made me take off my mouse ears, and yet he let other people go on there with hats and with other headbands and with other ears. But no, I had to take mine off. I think he was just being a jerk. Anyway, so I didn't really like that one. I mean, I didn't really like the ride or the people who worked it. And that's the first complaint that I've ever given about anybody at a Disney park. I just realized that. And that's probably the only one that I will ever give against someone at the Disney park. Because most of these people are like really, really nice. And that guy just, I don't know if he was having a bad day or what, but I did not like him at all. So after that, we walked over to the Corn Dog Castle. And it's just like this little tiny building that sells corn dogs and stuff. It doesn't really sell that much. It's mainly corn dogs and I think fried cheese or something. I don't know. There was some other thing that they sold. But I had already decided that I was going to get a corn dog in the park because I saw the Corn Dog Castle on the website and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want a corn dog. They're hand dipped. And yeah, so they weren't open yet. So while we waited for them to open, we had about 30 minutes probably. We rode the Golden Zephyr, which is another ride that goes in the air and goes around, but it's really, really tame, kind of like the swings. And actually, it's tamer than the swings, probably. And yeah, there was nothing to it, but it was fun just to kind of have a little ride to ride while we waited. And since Corn Dog Castle wasn't open when we finished that, because of course it only took like maybe 5 minutes to ride that ride, we walked back over to the boardwalk where they have Toy Story Midway Mania. And that must be one of their newer rides because it was a little more crowded than some of the others. There was one other ride that had a longer line than that one. Well, actually two, because Tower of Terror, everybody wants to ride Tower of Terror. But anyway, there were just a couple more rides that had longer lines than that one, so it must be fairly new. And while we were walking through the line for that one, I took a picture of myself and posted it on Twitter, so if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw it. So that was another one of the 3D rides, and I have said before that I don't like 3D rides, but that one was actually pretty cool. I would ride that one again. And it was another one where you have, where you're shooting things. But with this one, you could actually tell what you were shooting. Because you have you're shooting it looks like little ping pong balls or whatever. And they're different colors. So like mine was blue and Kevin's was red. And every time you shoot, it shows where it goes. So you could easily aim. It was amazing. It's so much better than just having a laser and not being able to tell what you're doing. So we both actually don't like rides like that. That one was a game changer. That one was actually really well done and nice job, Disney, because that one was, that was one of my favorite rides probably. Very nice. Very nice. I would definitely ride that one again. It was a lot of fun. Plus, you get to see, Toy Story characters. And who doesn't want to see Toy Story characters? They have the aliens. I love the aliens so much. Oh my gosh, did I ever tell you guys that I made a Toy Story alien piñata in high school? Well, I did, and it was awesome. And I don't have any pictures of it with me, but there we go. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But by the time that we got off of Midway Mania, that meant that Corn Dog Castle was open. So we got to have our corn dogs, and you get like a choice of chips or apples with it, sliced apples. So I had the chips and Kevin had the sliced apples. And yeah, it was a pretty good corn dog. It was a lot bigger than I thought it would be. But yeah, I like corn dogs, and that one was right up there with the best of them. So after lunch, we went back and we rode California Screamin' again because we were still nearby, and it was the last thing that we wanted to do on the pier. So we rode it again, and Kevin timed his photo. Because, you know, they take photos. He timed it perfectly. And I'm going to show you that because it makes me laugh. And it was like so perfectly timed. How did he do that? But yeah, I wish I could do that. But I couldn't remember where the camera was. And I saw him as he did it. And I thought, did he just get that right? And he did. So bravo, Kevin. That was amazing. I'm very jealous. Anyway, so since we were done with Paradise Pier, we headed to a different side of the park. We went toward the, I guess it's like the Hollywood part or something. I don't know. But they had a Monsters, Inc. ride that we rode, and it was pretty cute. And then we went to the Tower of Terror. Yay! So, I got to ride the Tower of Terror when we were in Orlando because I went to Hollywood Studios, but Kevin was at a conference at the time, so he didn't get to go. So he missed out on the Tower of Terror. And I just knew that if he got to ride it, he would absolutely love it. And guess what? He did. He loved it. And it's such a shame that they're closing it down because it's not going to be there after, like, in the new year. In January, it's going to be closed. I think they're closing it, like, the end of this year, and it's going to be closed, and it's going to be redone, and it's going to be turned into a Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and that kind of makes me not like Guardians of the Galaxy, because why would you ruin the Tower of Terror? And they had already taken off, like, the sign, so it didn't say, like, Hollywood Hotel, and they had taken off some of the stuff on the front of the building, which is really sad, because it's such a fun ride, but whatever. And we only had a chance to ride the ride once, because when we came back by later, it was really, really crowded, and we should have just gone through the crowd anyway and done it again, because it's so much fun. And when we went through the gift shop, Kevin thought about getting something, and he ended up not, and then he regretted it, because you can't get Tower of Terror stuff anywhere else other than the gift shop at the Tower of Terror. So if anybody happens to go to California before the year ends and wants to help me out and get something for Kevin from the Tower of Terror shop, that would be awesome. And stuff on like eBay now is going for outrageous prices because it's going to be closed down and nobody's going to be able to get Tower of Terror stuff anymore. Now, I'm not sure if they're closing the one in Orlando or not, but I imagine they probably are. But if they're not, it may be time for another trip to Orlando. So anyway, after we got off the Tower of Terror, we headed through the Bugs Life portion of the park, and we didn't ride anything because it was a bunch of like little kid rides. But I did get a cute picture of a clover up above my head, so that was kind of cool. And then we made our way to Radiator Springs, which is Cars Land, and I've never really been a big fan of Cars. Just putting that out there. The first movie was okay, the second one was pretty terrible, and then they made Planes, and I didn't even watch it because that was like a direct to DVD kind of thing, I think. So I've never really been a big fan of Cars, but I'm probably going to watch it again because Kevin kind of wants to watch it. So yeah, eventually I'll watch it again. But so I wasn't really that into riding any of the rides until I saw Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters. And it looked really cute because you're basically in these cars, and it has the little Italian, the Italian cars, and they play Italian music, and the cars kind of just dance around in circles and stuff, and I thought it was kind of cute. And there was some little kid that was like, "This is lame," and I was like, I don't care. I think it's cute. So we rode that. And after that, we went to get into the extremely long line for Radiator Springs Racers, which I believe is the newest ride that they have there. Probably. The line was really long, which was annoying. It was the longest line that we were in when we were in the park. But the ride was actually not that bad. It was pretty fun, except for the part where we got onto the ride. And we were in the front of a car, and there were people behind us in the back of the car, the back seat. And someone said, I hope you know how to drive, because I was the one that was going to be in the driver's seat. Although you don't actually have to drive them. But I was going to be the one in the driver's seat, and the guy behind us was like, I hope you're a good driver. And then Kevin's like, yeah, as long as she doesn't have to parallel park. Thanks. So yeah, okay, I can parallel park. I just have trouble sometimes. I'm not the best at it, which is why I don't parallel park very often. But I can do it. I've done it before. I passed my driver's test. Not by parallel parking, but I did. I didn't actually have to parallel park during my driver's test, actually, now that I think about it. They missed a fail right there. I did fail it the first time, though. So anyway, it was a pretty cute ride, and when we got done with that, we went back to the Tower of Terror, but the line was really long, and we didn't want to wait for a fast pass, so we just kept on going, and got a couple of drinks, and we were about to get on the red car trolleys, which are kind of like the train that goes around the park. And as we were walking up to it, the doors closed and it went off. I was like, oh, well, oh, okay. I guess we won't be riding that one. Yeah. So instead, we went to the bakery tour because they have a bakery there that makes sourdough bread. And if you go on the bakery tour, you get a teeny tiny piece of sourdough bread, like a little tiny slice. And so we got that and walked through the bakery, and when we got to the other side, there were all of these places to eat, and Kevin got a beer, and we sat down, and we just, rested our feet for a while because we'd been walking all day, and all day the day before, and we were both really tired. So we just sat there for a while, and there was this woman who walked by, and I swear she was wearing the shortest shorts I have ever seen, and her butt cheeks were falling out of them, and I thought it was the most inappropriate thing that you could be wearing at a park where there are all these children, but obviously she didn't care, and nobody said anything to her, so I just kind of glared at her. Like, you shouldn't be wearing that. So once we felt well rested enough to get up and walk around again, we went to Grizzly River Run, where I got on the ride and rode with a bunch of random people because I was in the single riders line, which got me straight to the front of the line. It was awesome. I mean, there was like one person in front of me, and we actually ended up on the same raft, and I got soaked, but it was okay, and I really liked it. It was a lot of fun, and there were, like, at the very end of it, I guess something went wrong with the ride because we got stuck in there for a long time. But we finally made it out. And yeah, that was the last one that I rode in Disney California Adventure. And yeah, we had a great time. It was so much fun.